listening to She Speaks Talk Radio, where women's words are changing the world.
Welcome to the Mind Your Business show with me, your host, Tierra, Womack, where we talk about finding balance between your life and your soul-led business, sharing the secrets of successful female entrepreneurs who are building wealth from the inside out, combining mindset and business strategies to create success on their terms. Hi, MYB family. Welcome back for yet another episode. I'm so excited. Today's guest is such an amazing spiritual business leading rock star. Gemma Serenity is an award-winning entrepreneur, educated at MIT and NYU in leadership negotiation and personal development, with 25 years of experience helping others find their voice and step into the energy of success, which I absolutely love. After victoriously overcoming 15 years of domestic violence, she now uses her writing, consulting, and online courses to share her insights on shifting your mindset, focusing on self-confidence, self-love, money, relationships, and domestic violence. Welcome to the show, Gemma.
Thank you so much, Tierra. Thank you. I'm so honored. And you did an amazing job at putting together this amazing bio, because it really resonates with all these important parts of my life and how I can give back to society, to others. I received so much. I want to give back. I cannot not.
Yes. And thank you, because I was taking pieces of, doing research on you and your background. And those were the points that I'm just like, this woman is a powerhouse, MIT, NYU, yes. 25 years,
yes,
award-winning entrepreneur, just like 15 years of domestic violence, and then still excelling. Thriving in life. And it's just so inspiring. So I'm happy that I approval on your intro, but first off, I want to congratulate you for receiving the Woman of Entrepreneurship Award in 2020. And I just want to talk about that experience of accepting your award in the Staples Center the same year the Lakers got their 17th championship. How amazing was that experience for you?
It was surreal to me, because even though I was already successful and doing things and moving forward, I was still dealing with a little bit of unworthiness, self-doubt. And when that award came through, it was that, is that real? Is it really that good? They really chose? Wow. Okay. And that actually started a completely new version of myself in terms of self-confidence, self-love, self-respect, self-esteem, knowing that, yes, I am validated, I am enough. And that really, really helped. After that, I started the series on YouTube, How You Too Can Win an Award series, and really going into all these consistency, vision, clarity, all these topics that are essential to experience success. And yes, being in the Staples Center, surrounded by all these giant basketball players, and having your own name and picture and coming on this big screen, it was like, wow. Even it was very, very short in time, 10 minutes or something, it was a decisive moment. And something that will stay forever. And that award, it's like, okay, so show it. It's something to be proud of.
Oh my goodness, isn't it? I mean, that was so amazing when I read about you receiving that award. And I feel as though we women, especially when we have this front-facing success and at very high levels, is what I often see when it comes to abuse, like being in abusive relationships, these very successful women who then a lot of times we forget to pat ourselves on the back because of the abuse we're going through. And I know for me, like realizing this monumental award and experience that you had, I also realized that I've won awards for entrepreneurship and I've never talked about it. I don't have it anywhere on my website or anything. And it's like, I think, it's so important that we give ourselves our flowers and celebrate those achievements. And, when it comes to narcissism, and for those who know my story, who are listening in, coming out of 2 long-term narcissistic abusive relationships, you and I relate, Gemma, with that abuse aspect. And I always say that abusers, especially narcissists, they don't break into poorhouses, they break into mansions. They're always going for the best of the best because it feeds their ego, right? And so despite being with abusers, we still continue to excel in other areas such as entrepreneurship, right? Being able to have those accolades. So talk to me a little bit about what was the straw that allowed you to walk away from the abuse?
1 year before I left, I was walking with a colleague who told me his story. And his story was not a question of abusive and toxic relationships. He accidentally killed someone with his car, someone who was crossing the road, and he couldn't get over it. It was so hard. And when I heard that, I then heard his own healing journey, how he could come to terms with himself, because it was, of course, involuntary. So it's like, it's awful, but it is as it is. And how he healed from that, and how he came to a place of love and compassion for himself and for the person, and all of that. And when I heard that story, it inspired me to at least look in the eyes of my own demons, meaning domestic violence, and recognizing that I was there for 14 years so far. And it started to be a very, very long time. And I said, okay, I may want to look at it, but I'm afraid that I may lose people around me if I do it. Or I may lose my stability if I do it, if I recognize what is. Still, I went head on and I started to look at it. I thought about it. I wrote about it. I started to do my inner work in silence, not sharing anything with him at all. And then I started to dream. How would love look like? How would a fuzzy, warm feeling of love feel like? How is it to just chill out on the couch with your husband? To me, it was just impossible. And I dreamed about that for a year. And after dreaming about that for a year and visualizing and imagining stories, amazing stories that felt good, I was really playing with my feelings. I knew nothing about metaphysics. I just did it.
You were remembering the magic within you.
Yes. And the more I dreamed about it, one day I was over the top done. And I started to warn a few people close to me, dad friends and others, to say, you know what? I'm going into an inner tunnel. I don't know how light is going to be on the other side, but I'm going to do something. I think I'm going to leave for real, but I don't know how it's going to be. I'm going to start all over again. And I was 34 years old with 2 children. And I was there, and I was the only breadwinner. It was like, hi, super hard.
Yeah.
So it was okay, try to do something. So that has been the soil of the transformation. When I really felt it was done, I serendipitously, or maybe manifested Sasha, who is my third last and dream husband now, but he was just a new person I just met, like, okay, we just met at a political event and voila. But I noticed his energy, his eyes, and I was there, oh gosh, I feel that we know each other forever, for I don't know how many lifetimes. I just want to figure out who you are today in that life and see what kind of relationship we can have. But I was not available for love. I was available for being close as with brothers and sisters. Connection.
Yeah.
And I immediately call back the very next day after that, because on Facebook you were able to just call if you wanted. So I discovered that the first time, like call and just see.
I love that. Yeah.
And
I love that.
within 2 weeks after that, I dared to tell him that actually it was not a third child that I wanted. It was freedom, happiness, and leaving my ex-husband that I did not love anymore. And the only thing he told me is, well, all that you can is be happy. So how can you be happy? You take the first step out, and then you manage what you did. Exactly. And this is what I did. Indeed, this is what I did. Not before really, really touching rock bottom, but this is what I did 2 days after this conversation, actually.
Wow. So it was a series of events, like being sparked by your colleague who went through their own trauma. And I think that's so interesting because many times the catalyst for we women to leave abuse is our own rock bottom, but you were triggered by someone else's rock bottom, their trauma, and then still had a span of a year where you went into this place of reflecting. I love how you said you did your inner work in silence. I know with my last relationship, I also had to do that because, a narcissist cannot see you bettering yourself. They almost take it as a personal attack. And so I did a lot of that as well, where you find the time and the peace to go within. And then I love how through transitioning and meeting this other amazing energy, you were really able to be vulnerable, feel safe enough to share and step out on your own. And now it's like you've built such amazing business. You have this amazing podcast now that I was just a guest on. We had such a great time. And I'd love for you to speak a little bit more about what Real Talk, Real Women, the podcast, is all about.
Yes, the mission of this podcast is to be the catalyst of change, to break the silence around abuse, to speak truth. Because as this conversation and hearing someone else's story, and I was not watching TV, I was not reading a lot of things. I did not allow myself to be connected to the world. And I imagine other people are not. Now, going on your phone and picking up a podcast, that does not leave traces on your phone. That means that you can do in silence, in discretion, and just not download it, but just listen to it, meaning that you can gather inspiration in secret from your abuser. This is why I thought about the podcast version of it, because if you go on YouTube, it's easy to just see your history and just say, so you watch that, what's going on? And you have to explain yourself again. It's like, okay, let's stop that justification. You are free to listen to what inspires you, and you are free to decide for yourself. Giving that voice, that inspiration, is the breath of Real Talk, Real Women.
That speaks so much to my heart. One of I call her like my business bestie, Paulette. She and I have a project coming out called How to Divorce a Narcissist. And that private podcast is a piece of that for that very reason, so that therefore it's untrackable in regards to digesting the content, digesting the guidance, and being able to feel safe. I mean, the last thing you need is your abuser seeing you taking steps to leave them. That is not a good situation. So thank you so much for being brave enough to create the platform from this place of safety for women like you and I were in those positions. And that leads me to your Victim to Victory book series that I think the second volume will be coming out soon. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit about that as well.
Wow. From Victim to Victory book series, that is a common project with my husband, Sasha, because he also has a amazing story from Victim to Victory. He was born highly disabled. He was supposed to not being able to walk, being paralyzed, so from the waist down, being mentally challenged, and being dead by the age of 7 years old. He's 43, thriving and everything.
Wow.
And
Amazing.
he also had to manage the narcissistic borderline hypochondriac mother. So he did not have the support he was needing at home to thrive.
Right.
However, he did thrive against all odds from within, probably connected to source or something like that, because it's amazing. It's almost magical when you look at it. And he wrote the first From Victim to Victory book series with this idea of, yes, and then we will have other authors and we will do things together. So he published the first one. And a few years later, I was like still in my healing journey, not sure I would really be up to the task. And I just published a small one, like just a 45 minutes read, like dream, dare, do, you know. Yeah. But it was like an attempt to say, me too, but not too much. And later on, the healings continue because it never stops.
Right.
We'll see when it stops. I hope one day we are just like done. I don't know. I don't know when.
Yeah.
And this is what we are doing now. So now, coming from a place of safety, of peace, of desiring to really spread the word to the highest number in so many different ways, writing the second and subsequent volumes of the From Victim to Victory book series, 16 co-authors sharing their own story from victim to victory, and then, same as Sasha, one principle that got them out.
Yeah.
How to heal, to overcome, to transform, what to do, an actionable step, something we can do and take away beside the inspiration, which is the first step. Inspiration. You have to feel the spirit from within,
I
becoming
love that.
alive.
Oh, well, you know, as an author of 7 books, you know, I know that when someone can pick up the pages of a book and read a story that inspires them to change their life, that is the ultimate gift, the ultimate blessing. Or, you know, for those of you listening that like to consume on Kindle, but it's just the point of reading someone else's words that come from their soul, hearing their story or reading their story that comes from their soul, and being able to say, I can do it too. This is inspiring me. Even if the story isn't similar, it still can inspire you to make massive change in your life. So, you know, I wanted to make sure that people are aware of this phenomenal book, that series that you have coming out, so that they can get their hands on a copy. And I know that you help your clients step into the energy of success, which again, I absolutely love. So what would you say, if there was just one thing, would be the number one mindset block you see your clients facing as they step into the energy of success, and how do they shift that, or how do you help them shift that mindset block?
What I noticed is that when you have been into victimhood for a number of years, even when you got out, even when you are victorious, you still have those money blocks, because the abuse continues on a more sneaky plane. The sneaky plane of money. How do you what is your relationship with money? So what I noticed that the biggest block now is the relationship to money. Okay, what is the story you tell yourself about money? Your relationship with money. It's extremely interesting, and how I help them overcome, by helping them consider that money is actually a person. Imagine that. And how would you behave with that person? So do you want to give that person words of encouragement and praising for the good? Or do you just want to say, I miss you, you're never there for me, I'm pissed, why are you not there? What relationship do you want? So if you can personify money, that is an amazing catalyst to change your story with money. So this is
Oh,
how I go about it.
that. I love that so much because one thing that I always say to my clients when it comes to shifting their money sabotage and that money mindset is the confidence gets the money, but the worth, how worthy you feel of having the money is what keeps it, because you can have all the money in the world and it slips, as you know, it slips through your fingers. So I love that personification of money. I always talk about the money energy. It's not the physical paper or the amount of zeros in your bank account. It's the energy and how you're receiving that and how you're treating it, like you said. So I love that. Now we're going to move into the mindset portion of minding your business. And this is where I ask my guests just a few questions that are rapid fire. So very short answers that we kind of have fun with. So are you ready for the rapid fire?
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go. I'm not prepared though, but let's go.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So as someone who actually helps clients shift into success, what is the one limiting belief that you have been surprised to experience at this level of success? What's that one mindset block that sometimes still rears its ugly head for you?
Self-blame.
Okay. And so how do you shift out of that self-blame?
I look at it. I say it's ugly. It's not even true. So now you go ding, ding, ding. And what am I actually responsible of? Oh, my behavior of today. Okay, so let's stop blaming all the 25 years ago decisions that I didn't know what would come after.
Yes. Oh, love that. Okay. So who is inspiring you right now?
My husband, Sasha.
Yes, I feel that. I feel that deeply. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Love yourself first.
Yes. What is the best way for the Mind Your Business family to contact you for speaking opportunities and just stay in touch?
GemmaSerenity.com. That is the easiest way to get in touch. Everything is there.
Gemma Serenity. And that's spelled GemmaSerenity, which will be in the show notes. So you'll be able to, for those listening in, you will be able to connect with Gemma. I really, really, really appreciate you. And for those of you listening in, your takeaway today is to ask yourself, where are you feeling like a victim? And what step can you take today towards victory instead? Please keep sending the takeaways over. I really, really, really do enjoy reading those. And I've been getting most of them via DM on Instagram at The Brave Way, but please, for those who want to send the takeaways, your responses via email, you can send those to hi@thebravewaytribe.com. Thank you, Gemma. And for those who tuned in today, if you've enjoyed the show, please share it with a friend or three so we can spread the value, spread the love. Remember, if you are looking for support in shifting your money mindset, becoming more fulfilled and aligned in your business, removing those money blocks, or need to find more free time in your calendar, please reach out to me and let's have a chat. Again, DM at The Brave Way on Instagram or send an email, hi@thebravewaytribe.com. Keep your head in the game. Remember that you deserve alignment, success, time, freedom, and balance in your life and business. And ask yourself today, how am I minding my business? Much love, everybody. Thank you so much, Gemma.
Thank you so much, Tierra.